name is Latrice Stateman, and today I will be presenting a presentation about our team's project called the Employee Timesheet Management System. What we're going to cover today in this presentation is the beginning, how we came up with the idea, the industry and organization that benefits. We're also going to discuss our phases, our planning, analysis, design, and implementation phases. We're going to also show you documents that occurred to help us keep us on track and move us along in each of those phases. So how we got here was our project group came together on an initial teleconference. We had our first group call. Each of us were assigned to provide an idea for our project that we would like to see occur, our group to do together. And we voted on the group based on the submissions, and then we went promptly into our planning phase. So as we entered into the planning phase, the team used the key deliverables listed here to keep us on track. Because the planning phase is an opportunity for the project team to understand why the information system should be built, or in our case, changed or upgraded, and how the team should proceed in making the changes. In the planning phase, it has two main steps, which is the project initiation, and we will cover that, and then the project management, which we will also cover later in the presentation. Let's discuss the industry and the organization this project benefits. CNO Financial Group USA is a financial service-based company out of Carmel, Indiana. CNO has several subsidiary companies such as Bankers Life, Colonial Penn, Washington National, and CNO IT Services provide software to each one of CNO's subsidiaries. These partners provide services to over 2 million middle-income working and retired Americans, and they are dedicated to providing the best services to their shareholders, business partners, associates, and their customers. So CNO IT Services already uses a system called SAFE, and that was their time tracking system, but it had some inefficiencies, such as team members had to request to be added to a project. There was no task to indicate whether an employee was in training, and a manager could not monitor the training hours. There was no automatic notification, so that required the manager to continuously monitor the timesheets. Another big time changer was that managers had to reject an employee's time in order for it to be changed. Once it was added to the system, they were unable to make any changes based on project team allocations that may have come up at the last minute. So the system worked, but it just had some things that could have needed to be streamlined. So our project goals, the overall goal was to bring more innovation into the time tracking system for employees. We wanted to build a user-friendly application, both user for employees and the manager. And wanted to be able to keep track of an employee's time more efficient, so that a manager would not have to constantly track the time tracking system, and employees could accurately track their time where they are, so that it will allow higher management to know the status of critical projects, where an employee is, and where their resources are being used. The project solution. So team members can now add to a task for the project and for a project and automatically send to the project manager for approval. So they can go in and add their time to the particular projects they're assigned to. Separate training tasks has been created. So when an employee is in training, they're able to actually assign themselves to training, and a manager can track the amount of training or when training hours were completed. Team members now can also change the number of hours by adding or subtracting, and then resending it to the project manager for approval. Versus the old system, they had to be rejected. Downtime has been a separate task of downtime was added, so the downtime for a project can be accurately accounted for. And then automatic alerts have been added. So managers will receive these automatic alerts whenever changes have been made to the hours or tasks, so that it gives them notification that they need to go back and monitor instead of having to continuously monitor it. So these efficiencies help with the delivery and the time tracking for both employees and for the managers. The added value, this value just created more efficient time management system, the tracking of it, and better utilization of the workforce. So now that an employee can look at it and see who is actually in a downtime status, or who has not completed training, or who needs to complete training, or how many hours it took for an individual to complete the training. And it really aligns with the company's strategy. It's just lessens the risk associated with projects, and it's just overall efficiency and utilization will allow the company's values to shine through the drive meetings, and then allowing them to meet the customer needs. So here we have a quick snapshot of our project team timeline, where we looked at each of the different milestones and tasks that need to be completed, and the time frames at which it takes to do. We've got the start dates and the finish date. Every project manager should have a good project time line that controls the task, so you can see how long an individual task will take, so that you can make sure you're meeting the appropriate milestone. So we enter into the analysis phase, and this phase has 3 steps. You need to be in this phase. You need to make sure you have a full understanding of the existing system, which is also called the as-is system. Identify the improvements of the system, and define the requirements of the new system, or also called the to-be system. So here's a snapshot of our use case analysis, as this describes how employees enters the time spent on tasks or projects he or she is assigned to within the week's time frame. We've got our input descriptions, sources, output descriptions, destinations, major steps performed, and the information that's needed for the steps. We've got our preconditions and our past conditions here, so that we can make sure this depicts the set of activities that need to be performed to produce the desired output. And here's our DFD, our data flow diagram. Here we are showing the major steps and data involved into our SAFE system. We have a full, more detailed one in our full-on report. Here we have our entity relationship diagram, or also our ERD, and we are showing each of the entities that will be in the systems and the relationships that they have within each other. From here we roll right into our design phase. Here are our hardware and software requirements and our system architecture. We're using the web server, the application server, and the database server flows. Here we have a screenshot of our 2 user interfaces. The employee view is on the left-hand side, and you can see as the employee is able to track their start time, their end time, the task list, and it's able to implement on the date. And on the right-hand side, the project manager view, they're able to look at an employee to see when the time was, the date, and the task, and the time they spent on each of that particular project. And now we have the implementation phase. And the deliverables from this phase are the implementation plan, the transition plan, and very important, forecasting for maintenance. If we're going to go and take the time to upgrade this system, we have to come up with a plan to maintain it. Finally, we have our migration plan. And in the migration plan, we're preparing the business, preparing the technology, and preparing the staff. we decided that we're going to you have to select the conversion model, and we're going to do a direct conversion, and we needed to have a contingency plan. And the contingency plan, if for some reason there are trouble in the system upgrade, is staff will just continue to use the as-is system until it is resolved, the problems are resolved. When you're preparing the technology, we're going to install the code into the safe background system, roll it out on our test PCs, and then complete the system launch once we have ironed out, make sure that it's going to roll without a problem. And then in preparing the staff, we're going to do a demo for the stakeholders to ensure that the system changes meet their needs and their desires. We need to revise the time tracking policies, as the changes will make changes in how the staff track their time. We need to conduct system upgrade training. So there'll be 10 training sessions that all CNO employees will be mandated to attend. The sessions will be divided by the management team and all other staff, as the content will be different. And then we're going to implement the new time tracking culture to ensure that staff is on board in tracking their time in a different manner. You're changing the culture. We have to make sure that the management team is watching over, answering any questions, and making sure that everyone understands how we're going to be more efficiently tracking time. In summary, this project is being undertaken to correct and modify the limitations and inefficiencies that the safe time tracking system currently has. These changes enable CNO employees to allocate time to correct charge fields and automate project assignments for project managers, and it allows editing capabilities prior to submissions for better time tracking. All these are enhancements to help CNO's commitment to helping working families and retirees get the basic protections they need. Thank you, and have a great day.